Okay, so again, I didn't just take the trash out. I got distracted by something. As long as I keep bringing myself back. So, I talk about things here and there, and I think of myself as I'm going to do this content for the channel where I'm going to do this and say it simply and then move on to the next thing. But I tend to be cyclical, I'm finding. My hand's shaking, sorry. I have not had my coffee. So, do you text little things to yourself? I started talking about that in a video I did last night. I am going to finish editing. I have like an hour and a half footage that I pieced together and was editing last night, where I was starting to go over how I use my planner. Now, when I do post that, keep in mind, don't have to do it exactly like me. I'm not the secret of success. I'm trying to find the secret of my success, but my success might look different than yours. So if you can't do the things that I'm doing, don't feel bad. Absolutely don't feel bad. I took a class. I was in an ADHD group. I know I've mentioned it before. Every single person was different. One person hated planners. He used a whiteboard. He couldn't even remember what to put on the daily list, and his wife was helping him. It can get into a codependent thing. So you have to strike a balance if you're in a relationship or you're living with your family. You can ask them for help for certain things. It can get tricky. We can talk about that later. What I just turned this on to say, I'm psyched. I just redirected myself. So I had mentioned this in a video that I may or may not post because I have to edit it. That I text little things to myself. I know that a lot of people do this. I am going to edit this later, and I am going to put my text for this morning right here. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head the actual times. I don't text everything to myself. So if it's during a time like now where I'm trying to time myself and stay on track, and within a minute I forget what time it is. That's how bad mine is. My working memory is pretty bad. So forgive me if I talk about these little memes and memory tricks. These are things I need to do. So maybe you don't, and that's awesome. I am grateful for you. But bear with me, because if I need to do these things, somebody else out there needs to do these things. And if you need to do these things because your memory is that bad, even if you don't have ADHD, what if you had a head trauma? What if you had an illness when you were young and you had a fever that was so high it gave you some brain damage, and now, I hate to say that word, there's got to be a better word for it, and now your memory's impaired. You had a car accident, you had a head trauma. I think I've had a few concussions in my life. We will talk about this later. So some good questions for us to talk about is, of course, we can go over that term, the ADHD tax, because that's fun. And it's not a real tax. It's not a real literal thing. It's a phrase about how we forget things, like food goes bad, so we end up paying more. So we'll talk about that. I don't know why that just popped in there. I literally just lost my thought. I'll find it. It's cyclical, right? So I have these little mantras, and the Pills Food Protein, where that came from is because in the morning my symptoms are the worst. Before my medicine kicks in, before I'm drinking water, I'm dehydrated, I am groggy. Everybody's ADHD is different. And I don't know if it's my particular type, the inattentive. I don't know if people who have the hyperactive kind don't struggle with the level of tiredness I have. Oh yeah, I gotta start using my happy light. But yeah, I will go into one room, open the cabinet, get a glass of water to take my pills. I will see the dishes haven't been done, and I'll go, oh, it's time to do the dishes. I'll open the dishwasher. I'll start swapping the dishes. Halfway through, I'll realize I stepped on some water. Ugh. I gotta go change my socks. I'll walk into the other room. I'll lose track of what I'm doing. I will look for a pair of socks. I will see the laundry needs to be done and there's a big pile on the floor. I'm like, oh, let me just do that really quick. There is no really quick. Right? Not when you're just being led around by this, that, and the other. Right? So these little memes or mantras or whatever you want to call them, I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this or the first that came up with this. And if other people have been doing this, I promise, you can't really copy each other anyway, because we need to share all this stuff, right? Yeah. It's not like I'm going to get famous for this. I'm just sharing my story. But I had to think, when's the most symptomatic part of my day? The morning. What is the most important part of my day that sets up my whole day? The morning. So that is a problem. And when I work mornings, or when I was in school and I had to go to clinicals, because I was in nursing school, and be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and your girl is a night owl, my God, I did everything I could think of. I took emergency. Tell me wake up in the morning. And I didn't know. That's what, oh my God. My God. See, I'm doing it now. So when I catch myself going, what am I doing? Which is a lot. I'll go, okay, wait. I'll go back in my mind to what's the first most important thing I do each day. So now, if I get a mantra like that for years, maybe your first important thing is not pills, food, protein. Maybe you automatically remember to take your pills right away. Maybe you never forget. Awesome! I'm jealous. Maybe for you it's something else. Maybe you're always losing your keys. Maybe your first thing is, I gotta go to work. I need to make sure my keys are in the right spot. Maybe you gotta make your lunch. Whatever it is. When you get your planner, and I'm starting to show you the planner now, but you don't have to start it yet. This is what I would like for you to do if you struggle with the same things. Anytime I say something like that, guys, just know I can't ever and would never want to tell you what to do. I actually have to be careful how I phrase things, because I get demand avoidance. Do you get that situation where, let me take these down because I get a reflection. I'm so proud of myself right now. I think that might be the first time ever that I caught myself putting my glasses down before I forgot, and I would have left them on the bed. And part of the bedspread is brown. My glasses are brown. Guess what I would have done? Yep. I would have sat on them. Or I would have gone shopping and brought something heavy and sit it on there. Or I would have thrown a set of clothes while I was getting dressed on there. Okay, time check. So I woke up at 8:20. I can't remember. It's in that little text that I'm going to put here. Oh. So I started talking about, I just want to say this really quick before I go. I'm starting to get warm again. Guys, I got to go to the doctor. These hot flashes. Ladies, do you relate? I keep ignoring them. Ugh. What was I saying? It's the morning. I'm forgetful. I'm getting water. Get your water, people. If you forget, get your water. Woohoo! Let's come back. So one of the things between that ADHD group, let me drink more water. Within a very short time of me having this, I dropped it and the lid broke, which is cliche. And how much did I have? Okay, that's good, because we're dehydrated. Guys, I need to move to the next thing I'm already forgetting. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna get clips from, this like distorts my face a little bit, Dr. Russell Barkley. I might have said before, when I first started watching some of his old presentations, he comes across, well, to me, I might just read it. This might be just how it comes across to me. I was like, he's not tolerant of us. He's just like, boom, boom, boom. You know what? I'm going to take these and put them somewhere. Hold on a minute. I'm going to drop my water. Dr. Russell Barkley is awesome. He doesn't call himself an expert in ADHD. And if you are not somebody who likes to watch long presentations, that's okay. I shall do it for you. Because I have to anyway. So, maybe last year, hold on, catching myself. 9:35. Okay, I have literally an hour and 20 minutes to get ready for my counseling appointment. So, goals. My brain is really symptomatic right now. What have we done today? I woke up like 8:20, I think, and by 9:20 I ate. I took my pills, I ate, and I drank some water, and I made sure that what I ate had protein. So you might be like me and not having any kind of formal food, just grab whatever is around you, and we forget to eat, and then sometimes by the end of the day you're grabbing junk because you're starving. So my tricks might not be very appetizing or perfect or necessarily nutritious for you. This is just me trying to improve from where I was. And my counselor kind of equated that to, it's almost like harm reduction in a way. So before, what was I having for breakfast? Lucky Charms, baby, yeah. Lucky Charms and caffeine, and not drinking water, and getting more dehydrated, and having sugar high, sugar crash. So now if I wake up in the morning, I do my mantra, because I've already decided, okay, each day, these are the things I absolutely cannot forget. And I do them in order. In case I'm having a day, let's say I've got the flu and I'm sick and I can't physically do anything. If I have things in order ahead of time, and I memorize it, and I make a mantra out of it, I will make myself go do it. Because I know it's important. So once that mantra gets hardwired into my brain, the pills, food, protein is my mantra. If I do one thing on a day, and that's it, and that's all I get to have done, and I feel like a delusional, disabled, mentally brain damaged person, but I get one thing done, it better be my pills. It better be my pills. Because when I get distracted and do things that I think are important and I'm not paying attention, which is every day of my life, then I'll realize in the afternoon at night that I didn't take my meds. And then guess what? It's too late to take them. Now for the ADHD meds, it's not bad. But I do have one antidepressant that I take that has no half-life, immediately leaves your system within 24 hours. It doesn't build up like the other ones. And I have a very, very, very bad reaction when I go off of it, even one day. That might not apply to you, so don't worry. For me, it's pills, food, protein. So I started to talk about this a little bit in another video. If you take antidepressants, and I think it's important for me to mention it as well because of the high comorbidity rate, the high percentage of people who are neurodivergent that also have depression, anxiety, OCD, and I can't remember what the other, was it bipolar? I don't know if the genes are related, and both things run in my family. ADHD is on my mom's side, and I got depression, those type of mental health challenges from both sides of my family, so I was doomed. Okay, I don't want to say that. I'm not doomed. But that's the genetic lotto I won. So what are my controllables? I can't control I have ADHD. I can learn little things to kind of try to rein it in. Is it going to be something I have to manage for the rest of my life? Yes. Are there things that I'm going to work towards in the future doing? Like I started exercising this week. Like I started walking a couple days and I let go. That are going to help my brain be healthier and less symptomatic? Yes. But right now, I can't even get out of my own way. So ground zero, this is where we're starting. If you're like me and you have poor working memory where you're forgetting things within minutes of thinking of them, you might have to come up with a meme or a set of things, even if you just do one. Now, when I say pills, food, protein, not only is that a mantra I memorize so that I can go, what am I doing? Have I had my pills, food, protein yet? Because I default to that right away. That is self-love. If stopping yourself from rebounding down below your normal serotonin and whatever, I had taken SSRI, my antidepressants, SSRI, so there is serotonin reuptake inhibitor, so my serotonin's low. My dopamine's low because I have ADHD, so that's being boosted by the ADHD meds. And also, what does Wellbutrin do? I think it does it do dopamine too? Because sometimes they prescribe Wellbutrin, which is bupropion, if you forget. That's just the name brand. I'll have to look it up. But there is, if you haven't watched the other videos I've done yet, and they're kind of all over the place, so I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to start taking notes and doing a brain dump. I'm going to have to brainstorm because I keep thinking I vision in my head that I'm going to come on here and just explain things in order, and then I'm all over the place and it hasn't happened. So I'm going to have to do some brainstorming and figure out how I'm going to organize that. But see, now I'm doing it again. Russell Barkley. Why do I bring up Russell Barkley? He's considered to be an expert in ADHD because that is what he has been studying his whole life since he started working professionally. He has a channel on YouTube. If I remember, hopefully I will. It's not important, so I'm not going to try. I will link his page. I always say page. I'm like stuck in the past of MySpace. So if I say page, I mean channel. So, yes. One, I think this is very, very important. And I'm the first clip. Well, I shouldn't say that because who knows with my brain what I'm going to do. Is about Have you heard of, God, what's the name? Shh. Don't you hate it when a word's like on the tip of your tongue? Not shackle, scaffolding. So when you're building a house, what do you do first? You do the foundation so the house doesn't fall down. Then you do the, the structure. And then you build the walls and everything else around it. If you are trying to learn how to get control of your ADHD and your ADHD is like mine, this is just what I've found that has safeguarded me from getting worse or getting in a situation that totally undoes all my hard work. Like I said, I cannot forget my medicine. So the one thing out of all of these little sets of threes, for some reason that's the idea I'm playing with probably for like the last 6 months to a year. It seems to stick. But if you need to just say one thing, pills. Now this seems like so dumb, and I've said that. And people watching this who has this have way higher functioning ADHD. It's not really as much of a problem. They're going to get impatient. They're going to go somewhere else. I don't know. I'm going to get to that too. But this is where I'm at. So I'm going to help people where I'm at. So scaffolding. What is it? I've been on here 20 minutes. All right. I'm going to say something out loud to myself. It says 22 minutes. If I look up and it's 30 minutes or past, I'm shutting this thing off. Because I got to get freaking ready. Scaffolding is, just off of the top of my head, what it means to me. So I don't know if I thought of it this way because I come from carpentry in my family and I'm thinking of construction and I'm thinking of the foundation of a house. It's like the first thing I think of because my dad was, he would be doing an addition to something or working on building a wraparound porch, or he was always building something. So that's what I think of. Now, we have poor working memory. So it's hard for us to stay on track. It's hard for us to remember anything. So he explained in one of his presentations, and I found really powerful, maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't really remember. I'm not trusting my sense of time, that he said, your kids, and he's talking to teachers and parents, your kids with ADHD are not going to be able to remember. They're not. Stop trying to get them to remember to put their homework away. Stop trying to get them to remember to do the homework. Stop trying to get them to remember to brush their teeth, because they're not going to, because they can't. So I wish that I had that when I was young, because I felt crazy. I felt so bad about myself because I was desperately trying and I felt so bad that I couldn't. And I didn't know why sometimes I could and sometimes I couldn't. So scaffolding is basically taking the things that we would normally, if we were neurotypical and didn't have ADHD and we had good working memory, we'd be able to remember for the day, right? Well, we just forget stuff so easily. You're taking the thing, and instead of it, he says, instead of expecting us to hold something in our mind that we can't, put it in your outside environment as reminders, right? So at first I was putting a little note next to the side of my bed that said pills, food, protein. And it's 1, 2, 3. The most important thing that I cannot forget is the pills. I will say it till the day I die. 2, I have to eat. It's embarrassing I have to do this, but dude, if I don't do this, I will get like squirrel. Yarn, laundry, dishes, this. Oh, I gotta clean out my closet. Within seconds, derailed. This is a structure that I've memorized. It is somewhat outside of me in the fact that I used to have it little notes, and I tried that for a while, and after a while I became blind to them. So this is a structure I created to keep me on track of the things that I already know, that I've already sat and worked through and decided what's the most important thing for me is pills through protein. So I got to do that every day for the rest of my life. And I could let that go if I want to, but that's not an act of love. Foundation. You going?
I will be back.
Okay, love you. So foundation is making sure you eat your breakfast. How many of us like forget to eat all the time? Especially if you're taking stimulant medication for your ADHD, how many people are forgetting to eat all day? We forget to eat anyway. If you create, and I'm really curious what works for you guys. So maybe it's not like a meme. They say that we shouldn't, like on our list of things to do for a day, we shouldn't put more than 1 to 3 things. So that's why I picked 3. And for some reason, I like remembering things that way. And then I can do them in clusters. And some days suck and I only take my medicine. And like I said, if I have a flu or I'm having a really symptomatic day and I can't function, at least I know tomorrow I'm not going to have a bipolar episode. Which I don't have bipolar, but for some reason I have some severe, horrible reaction when I do not take this medicine because it does the rebound. We're going to say, I like my eyebrows. We're going to say this is the normal level of brain chemistry somebody has. This is mine. You take antidepressants and over time, it gets you up to normal. This is why they say, do not stop taking your antidepressants. It's one medicine you shouldn't just up and stop taking. Don't go cold turkey. Work with your doctor if you decide you don't want to take them anymore, and they will step you off it gradually in a way that is not going to ruin your life. Because if you could prevent that, why wouldn't you? The 3 times that I forgot were horrible mental health days. Horrible mental health days. I was shaking. I was wanting to slam things. I could not even I don't know how I drove my car. I had to call out of work. It was horrible. And then it took days to stabilize. So now if you're trying really hard to build a routine and all of a sudden that happens, that just threw your week off. So here's when it's working. You stop taking it, you think it's going back to here. There's a rebound effect because your body has adjusted to having it, right? It's adjusted to having a certain amount. So it's not trying to make more, right? It's deficient anyway, but now it's gotten used to this. So it is not making the same amount. Okay, so now it goes out of your system. And then guess what? To all my neurodivergent friends who struggle with bipolar, I don't know if this accounts for OCD. I don't know if there's depression involved with that. I don't know if it's the same for anxiety meds. But when it comes to the brain chemistry that is being helped by antidepressants, just know that rebound effect. If I don't help you guys with anything else, I just want to prevent you guys from having those bad experiences I did. Because you might think, okay, you have one terrible day and then it will balance out in a day or two and you'll be fine. If it happens, we'll get through it together and I will tell you things that I do to kind of help calm me and weather that storm. People who actually have bipolar know what I'm talking about. And the reason why, excuse me for a second. The reason why I say bipolar is because I've had friends with bipolar. I'm not an expert, but I know how terrible that is. I know how terrible that is. It's going to be 3. I might be able to just post this as it is because I was just going boom, boom, boom. I did two sets of 3 things already today. And it's 10 of 10. Usually, because I've not been on track, that's like huge. Yesterday, I was discouraged. I made a video diary while I was still in bed, and it's kind of similar to the other one where I was still in bed. And then it was so long, I just didn't want to post it. So later on, I recorded something that I did post. And I was looking through the footage because everything I did yesterday, was it yesterday? Was it yesterday? I don't even know now. I think we're on day 10. Was so all over the place. And I was symptomatic. I'm like rocking. That I couldn't even think straight. I had no desire to go through and edit all that nest of random stuff. The reason why I'm posting every day for now, or I'm trying, I know that might be a bit much and annoying for you guys, and I apologize. It's just part of the reason that I'm doing this experiment is that if I can come on here, yes, part of it's like a video diary. What I'm doing right now, yeah, I'm updating you, but it's not the diary part. I'm not talking about how I'm feeling. I'm not talking about where my mind's at and if I'm feeling good about my day or if I'm discouraged and what I do about that when those happen, or just sharing. Right now I'm kind of more discussing things like in a roundabout way. I'm tired. Ooh. I had to go sit in my couch, man. You know, I make coffee. You know, if I don't get anything else done before my counseling appointment, I think I'm going to forgive myself. Look at how dehydrated I am. I know I'm getting older, but oh my God, guys. I'm going to pause this for a minute and get my coffee. What did I want to talk to you about? We started talking about scaffolding. Also, I want you to know over this 30 days, I'm going to be talking about stuff because I want to share it with you. But I'm not doing any kind of formal in-depth videos about any of these things. I'm just kind of starting to talk to you about it. So if you forget or you don't do things like I do, or you don't start doing your own planner until I'm done in form, like something I can really like teach you and do it with you, don't worry about it. Don't get overwhelmed. I'm just kind of starting to talk about it to get you familiar with it. If you're somebody, that way you can take a time to think about these things. I have friends. I have ADHD friends that are at ground zero. I know these people. So, and I've gotten feedback from some people on YouTube that struggle with problems as severe as mine and worse. So if you've never had these problems, it seems like we're brain damaged. It seems like we're stupid. What do you mean you don't remember to? Of course you effing take your pills first thing. What the hell's wrong with you? Well, guess what? My brain's not working functionally. I'm sorry. Sorry, I got sassy. I don't even know what I've been talking to you guys about. What did I want? This is good. This is good. Hold on. I'm practicing now. I'm going to see if I can. We talked about scaffolding a little bit. I started to talk to you about Russell Barkley. The reason why I brought it up is he says, with poor working memory, if we can't hold things in our brain, stop trying to make yourself. What if you're like me and your ADHD, it is a neurological developmental disability. As much as we hate to say it, as much as we don't want to think it, as much as we don't want anyone else to know it or tell anyone, it is a neurological developmental disability, even though it's a neurotype. Sorry, that was gross. So I don't think it's one thing or the other. You know, we talk about neurodivergent, different, not less. That's so we can accept each other, and that's also so people around us and in the community at large, in our bosses, in our families, we can start to kind of educate them if we have to. It's like, it hurts, it's hard, because they're not necessarily receptive. They're like, I don't care about that. I don't know, that's your problem. Yeah. And meanwhile, you have to figure out how you're going to get out of the house and find your keys and get to work on time and not feel like a crazy person and not know why you're walking in circles while you're getting ready for work and why you can't do simple shit and why you keep getting fired from jobs or you don't stay there very long because you're like, oh, it's getting to that point where I'm starting to mess up and I'm starting to be I'm like this all the time. And so you think of an excuse to get fired, or in my case, I started to have a burnout when I was in my 20s and I had no idea. And I ended up having a crisis where I had like, old term would have been mental breakdown. It wasn't good. This stuff on my screen. I'm rambling again. When I catch myself rambling, I don't know what I've already said. I go back and watch these and I realize, hey, that was really good. That's important. So I'm just going to trust that right now. Scaffolding. Scaffolding is like scaffolding, the studs, the framework of your house. Okay? You have an ADHD brain. You have a neurodivergent brain. If your particular flavor of neurodivergent brain has executive functioning issues and poor working memory, that is remembering what you're doing. We're not talking like long term. We're not talking about just the stuff, the little things throughout your day. That's why you're walking in circles. That's why you keep, the stuff I'm talking about, we're going to build it from the ground up. And you're not going to be embarrassed. If I'm the only person saying this, don't. I can't be the only one who has to do this for myself. If I have to talk for like 20 minutes on one of these videos about it, half an hour, whatever, if that helps you to sit and listen and reflect, I will do it. This is the question. This is the question that you need to, this is how you'll know how important what I'm doing right now is. Do you forget to take your medicine? If you don't, awesome. Yay! Then this won't be you. Is your working memory not really that bad? This won't be you. If you're just trying to keep, like, let's say you work a lot and you have, maybe you're a manager and you have a lot on your plate. And what I'm talking about right now is just like, I can't deal with that. I got to figure out how to do these spreadsheets and how to do this, that, and the other, and how to juggle that with taking care of my kids. And I will get there. It might be after the 30 days, though. I will get there. I don't remember. I'm pouring creamer in my coffee. Oh my God. I still can't believe that day. I like these chit chats, guys. I can't wait to do more of them with you. Let me check it. Oh, God, he makes it strong. I love my baby. I love my baby. I used to, in previous relationships, always say honey and sweetie. And it's funny because I never said baby, but that's like his thing and it's become our thing. So if I say he's my baby, I'm not talking about a child or a little kid. I actually can't have kids. That's for another video and I don't know why. And they've never been able to tell me why. So for all of my lady friends out there who struggle with fertility, I love you. You're enough. Wow, this took a hard left turn. I might cut this out of the video. That's a tough thing. That's really, really, really tough. I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to go there. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I have an idea of why. Now I got talking with you guys. I don't even want to do. What was the next 3 things? Okay, first 3 is always pills, food, protein. Got up at 8:20. I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to go and check my text to myself. Oh, I know I said it in another one, but I haven't posted that video yet in case it's like a couple days before I post it, because I'm typing, I'm learning how to edit videos. So all those little cute animations are they're like little dopamine goodies for me to put them in there because I think they're really cute and they make me smile. I don't know if that makes my videos annoying or fun. But when I look at the analytics, that it's like you could tell people are interested, but they're like leaving the video. And as soon as I start putting like these little animations of the little girl going like that or some like dancing thing, all of a sudden instead of it goes like, dude. So I'm like, maybe it's okay. Maybe other people like these silly little things too. So I'm going to try to circle back in my brain here. Bear with me. Let me know if you do this as well. So I timed myself today. And I got it done in an hour and a half. I don't know if that's good. I don't remember. My goals, which if I didn't post it in the video yesterday, I have to figure out how I'm going to do this, guys. Because I want to post them as they're ready to be posted. And some of these are taking longer for me to make. So like I'm recording right now, day 10. It's Saturday. Part of this is like, hurry up, get productive because you're going to have your meeting. So I can feel good about something. This past week, for my first week of this 30 days, I'm like all over the place. And I actually don't even know how to feel about it yet. I don't know if that's part of it. So at some point, maybe after my meeting with her, regardless of how important it is for me to do the things on my goals list for this week, I haven't been filling in my planner what I've been doing with my time for the last few days. So I text things to myself a lot. And I don't go into like novels in my text like I do when I comment, because I just like open brain, download stream of consciousness, close brain. I really have to start commenting or responding in like a Word document first and just getting it all out. What I've been doing is whatever platform it is, if it's like responding to something in Reddit, I've never watched Reddit before. I've never looked at Reddit before. I'm such a dinosaur. Oh my God. Oh my God. I feel like a 12-year-old that's learning about technology for the first time. It's so bizarre. So, what I want to do by the end of today, I'm proud of myself. I did a routine. I've been struggling all week. If I review back in my mind to the last 2 or 3 times that I started again, the first week is usually like that. So I'm going to try to forgive myself for that and not be upset. I don't know. Do you guys do this too? I get this idea it's going to be easy. And that never seems to change. Because immediately, like the whole stream of events, I can see myself doing. And I don't know why I don't imagine the distractions at all. I imagine like I'm just going to go do it. That's why it makes me feel crazy. I started to show in the video that I'm work on editing now. I actually spent, because I'm not good at it yet, guys. I'm not good at it yet. So sometimes I find a video I'm working on, I'm talking about something really important that I feel is really important to talk to you about at this particular junction, this particular stage of where I'm at. If you're in the same boat as me, or I'm starting this channel new and I'm starting at the basics, and I'm starting with things that can help people who struggle an awful lot. Like, I don't know if you call lower functioning for ADHD, but oh, I started talking about this yesterday a little bit. I mentioned, and then I just went right off to something else immediately. I didn't finish the thought, and I do that a lot. But I had mentioned that I had taken some ADHD quizzes online, and yes, you take them with a grain of salt. I am seeing a counselor. I already am diagnosed. I already know, no matter how much I want to trick myself into believing I don't have this, that I do. But yeah, I still do try to trick myself into thinking I don't. It's like my brain can't accept it, because I can't accept that there's something I can't change, right? Which is so, what a waste of energy that is, huh? That's not helping myself. But the reason why I brought up these little ADHD quizzes is something like struck me. One of them was for an app, and I'm like, oh, cool. And, sometimes if I have to be careful. I've kind of learned that I don't allow myself to be interested in certain things right off the bat. If I get a feeling, or I know from experience, that I will get overwhelmed by it. For instance, last night the video I am editing I was been working hours, hours, and I've only gotten through 5 minutes because I'm learning how to do it. And I'm not going to scrap the video because it's actually really good, as far as, kind of giving you an idea of how I do it and why I do things a certain way, and what I think might be helpful for you. But then maybe I'm not explaining it right, or I don't realize I didn't explain something, and then I want to put like a little message. It takes forever. God. Instead of perfectionist, I want it to look cute. So I type the message out, right? And I go into the edit part. Oh, so for those of you who are learning how to edit videos, if you're like me and you are a dinosaur and you're a child of the 70s and 80s and you haven't wanted to even be bothered with social media, but you're kind of playing around for fun, the app that I've been enjoying more this week, I also have it's like a YouTube suite, I think, YouTube creator thing. So I've got the Creative Studio, where that's the one where you can see what's getting views, what's not, and it really just kind of helps you learn what's working, what's not, and that helps you to make better content. So I don't take it personally. I'm using it as a tool because I know my videos are raw. I know they're rambly and hard to watch. So I do use that. But this one, there is a YouTube one, and I can't remember the name, and it's kind of similar to the app I'm using now, but I like this one better for some reason. Onshot, you'll see it like if I'm using it for this video, it'll be, if I end up editing it, you'll see it on the bottom right corner. It'll just say InShot or something. But I really like all the little stickers and animations. Oh my gosh, I'm going every which way with my brain. I'm having fun talking to you, and I hope that you're having a good day. Let me try to rein it back in for a minute. So when I woke up, I had to kind of aim the camera away from me. I talk so much. I want to talk less. I'm like, God, I spend all day. Maybe it's taken me so long to clean and do all of this stuff because I'll do a little and then I'll come on and record talking to you. I lose track of time. maybe it's a few minutes here or there, and then I'll do something and I'll record myself, and then I'll do something and I'll record myself. It's helping me a lot in the sense that it's making me do it. I think part of the reason that I've fallen into a depression, even though I actually am diagnosed with major depression, and we will do story time on that. We will do story if you want, because I actually was very resistant to believing that I had it, because I grew up around people who had depression and they were treating it, and they actually were approaching me as a child in the correct way by allowing me to know that, and explaining things like counseling and medicine to me so that I wouldn't be prejudiced. But for some reason, as a little kid, I didn't want to. I'm like, you seem fine to me. That's how people act towards us. You don't have ADHD. You look fine, because we're so good at masking. We didn't choose to mask. We did to survive, man. It's default mode. Okay, so this might be unwatchable. I'll edit this down. So, summarize. Got up. Was like, I'm just going to time it. Let's go. Thought maybe that'll be fun. And that worked. I actually really enjoyed that. I'm wondering if you guys would be interested in. I'm going to be able to do lives really soon. I have a friend who has her own YouTube channel, Genevieve Knight, and we're very different in some ways. She is a character, and I love her for it. If you see her she doesn't use her other pages much now. The one that is Genevieve, she uses her, what's it, 2 dogs and a girl? I forget. Because I forget everything. But yeah, not for children's ears. It's like going to an adult comedy show, because she's just unapologetically herself, and she doesn't care, and I love it. And that some people won't be some people's cup of tea, so that's fine. I just know, like, I'm friends. If you see people, I have a lot of interest in, I like a lot of different kinds of people. So some people have, granted, a lot of, I don't even know if my friends list, my subscription list even shows up, but I like people from different countries, different points of view, different attitudes. Unless somebody's like super toxic or mean or ignorant, negative. I don't want to say paranoid, because I'm not talking clinical, like having delusions or paranoia. I'm talking like somebody who's so into, and I'm not judging it. I'm just saying it's not good for me, for my personality to, it's not good. I used to really get into politics. That was like 20 years ago, and a lot of stuff have changed, and I don't now, because I know some things that I have learned that aren't from any particular party, that make you realize that the parties aren't really that different. They are in some ways, but they're not as different as they market themselves. But anyway, but it's, what do we see? We see all that scary stuff. We see rhetoric. We see, I can't. This is not a good analogy because this is extremely far and away from the severity of that. So what's going on now, the toxic shit that's going on in our culture between politics and some other things, the just jacked up emotions and the lack of critical thought, and it's just so, you have to be very, very careful. And the algorithms from different platforms, that they're designed to make money, and so they will. Oh, that's really cool. If I can find that new segment, I'll post it in here. It talks about how, when did I see that? It might have been a year. I don't even know. I don't trust my time. It was talking about how the polarization in politics and other causes or other subject matter has been caused by, or at least really enhanced by, the algorithms, which a lot of people know. We know. The algorithm just knows that I'm not into politics, okay? But I'm just using this as an example. The whole Trump versus not Trump. I'm not even going to get into it, but polarizing, right? Polarizing. Some things are polarizing for a reason and are very important to talk about. Not you and me, but like us as a culture, because whoever we vote for, or whatever policies, it is important. Like when it comes to equality, rights, what your priorities and values are, what you want to see changed. Those things are important. But those people that are my age or older, maybe a little younger, I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm just going to say a trigger warning. I am just going to mention this as an analogy. Trigger warning. I'm mentioning a very traumatic time in American history. Traumatic for us. If you don't want to see that or hear about it, or if you're not having a good day and you're having a mental health day, I'm going to edit it and put the time here of where to fast forward to. Because I'm going to talk about, just for a second, but still, I have to be in the right mindset for that. But I'm going to put the timestamp to fast forward it to. Okay? All right. I'm going to mention it. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to talk about 9/11. Why do I bring that up? I'm not getting into it. I'm using it as an example. It's a tremendously traumatic tragedy that happened to us all, and especially to the people who survived it or died because of it. I don't want to get into it too much. I was at home watching it live. I watched it. I was in college. I was in my 20s and I was in college, and I happened to be home that day. I had to go wake up my family. But why I bring that up is, do you remember how it could shock you or people and it was, you froze and you would watch the people jump out to their deaths, and it was horrible, right? But remember how some of us who are very vulnerable to that trauma got stuck in that loop and kept seeing it over and over again? What was I using that for? That's how I feel about how politics is becoming. Like the attack on our Capitol. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up. That's just how I feel, how toxic some of these things are right now. Luckily for me. Okay, so now we're going to this is where you're going to start again. Traumatic thing over. I was basically saying people go through traumatic things and they get stuck in that place and they see it over and over again, and that's all they see. So when you go on to these social media websites like YouTube, it knows the algorithm is programmed. So if you see something shocking, like Trump said this or somebody shot Trump or whatever, and you go, oh my God, and it might be something extreme. It knows. It may be something that's not even real, or somebody's jacked up emotional response and exaggeration, or maybe that person's crazy. Who knows? Who knows? And it gets such a reaction that you click on it. The algorithm knows. So I'm rambling for an hour and I'm talking about strange shit that doesn't even matter, and I'm sorry. Oh my God, guys. Yeah, algorithms. They polarize us. How did I even get on this conversation? Oh my God. So what did we talk today about? I timed myself. I did good. I might end up screwing up the rest of the day. I'm not even going to say what my goals are, because I have demand avoidance sometimes. And then after my appointment, I will panic and avoid it. Well, I can't call the doctor's offices because it's Saturday. What did I want to do today? Did I even write it in my planner? I don't know. I don't know what I did with my planner, even though I was recording myself. I feel dummy, like a dummy. Oh, so when I was editing a video yesterday where I was talking about how I use my planner and what works for me, I thought, wow, it is good for me to tell you what works, like what makes it work for me. Certain elements that I like to have in a planner and what to look for. But then I remembered how hard it was for me. My hair is like all frayed. This is what happens. I kind of want to shower before I see her. It's the real time, 10:30. I don't think I have time. It's all right. She's seen me like this. Oh, so let me see what my goals were. This is where it comes in. This is where it comes in. So, things that I like in my planner, and I'm just mentioning it right now. So you want a tab for each month, and you want 3 things, minimum. 1, the page in the beginning of the month, and not all planners have this. Let me go to a month that I didn't write anything down. You want the beginning of the month. We'll do November. Do you see this page? How cool is that? You can put your goals, your to-do list, everything. So what I used to do, I used to have what I called a rotating list. And it was all the things that I avoided like the plague, that I knew I had to do, but I would forget, and I'd write them on pieces of paper and I would lose them. So I had this rotating list and I taped it to my wall. I didn't used to use a planner. I had a cleaning chart and a calendar that I hung up on the wall, like a regular wall calendar, and I had my rotating list. This functions the same exact way. It's just in a book instead of hanging on a wall. So on my week at a glance pages for each day, I can write all the things that I want to get done. On my calendar pages, I can write my appointments, my work schedules, important days, important things that are going on, or if something bad happened, or if I'm sick, I'll write that there in case I forget. But the very first page, see if you can find a planner that has this. You know, because that's pretty cool. So then I was trying to figure out, I went to Amazon because I'm like, God, that was such a nightmare, and it's taken me a couple years, and just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. So just check it out or try it out and see, and if it doesn't, you might try a different format. Oh, Also, you might hate freaking planners and not use them at all, and that's perfectly fine. So any video that's titled planner, you can just skip over that if you have a different system that works for you. Also, if you hate having an actual book to write in, there is a plethora of apps out there. There's journals where you can write, like a diary. There's, like, I can't even look through all of the apps. I get super, super overwhelmed. Executive functioning issues kicks in. Analysis paralysis, I see just on after another, and I'm like, and sometimes they have all these bells and whistles I don't even need. And then I'm like, I can't deal with that because I don't want that. I want simple. My mom had a saying, it's not a new saying. You've heard it before. And they've changed it because it's not politically correct. Have you ever heard the saying, keep it simple, stupid? KISS. And stupid, we can't say that anymore. It's not nice. But sometimes I default to saying that because I'm a different generation and it's hard to undo 49 years of sayings. So I'm working on it. Please forgive me, neurodivergent friends. I'm really, really trying not to say those things anymore. And I don't mean them like that. But decades of that in your vernacular, it's very hard to undo that. The habits are hard. But yeah, when you're starting your planner, you want it to have a goal sheet. 3 things. Actually, ideally 4. You want it to have a goal sheet. And at the top, like let's say this July, for example. So maybe the goals section, I will put my thoughts or things I would like that I'm working towards. I said in another video before, and because I'm kind of all over the place and I don't remember what I teach in what videos, I'm just kind of letting it all out there as I'm doing the 30 days because I'm needing to use this. So as I'm doing things, I'm sharing them with you. So they might be haphazard for now, but when I'm done with the 30 days, I'm going to make folders. I'll figure it all out. I'm going to put it in a way that is much more user-friendly. But in the meantime, if you don't want to wait a month or 2, because right now I'm trying to do the work and I can't spend the time doing all of that stuff, you can start where I'm at. And if you like the idea of a planner, this works for me. And I might mention things multiple times. And it's because I need to come back to them. So if I do that, I apologize if you've heard things from me multiple times. You'll probably hear pills, food, protein. I tell people about that and they look at me like I'm nuts. I remember I was talking to a pharmacist once. I'm like trying to educate pharmacists. It's not my job, but when I'm there, they say things to me that they're wrong about. It just happens in conversation. And it gets very frustrating, and I have to let them know, like, you know, what it's like if I don't have this. Because there are people that drug seek, you know. And I had one, as I was explaining, and I had all the shame, and I was explaining how important it is and the troubles that I've had in the past and what psychologically that's done to me in the last several decades, the problems I've had getting medication and treatment to treat symptoms of a neurological condition that I am diagnosed with, and the drug is for that condition. That is why they made it, and I can't get that. I can now. But my faith in that system is not there. People who are newly diagnosed and just experience the shortage, because like all these people are getting diagnosed. I do want to do a video on that. I think it's really important to get this message out there that when I was diagnosed in a Y2K era in the early 2000s, they knew then. They were already talking about it then, that up to 80% of women who have ADHD are not diagnosed. They knew. And I don't know if it's because that's from the medical professionals and maybe that doesn't come out to the mainstream. And the people who develop medications, it's through the FDA because, of course, it's a controlled substance, which really sucks. Because if I could take something else, do you think I would take it? F yes. I don't want to take. It works. It works. It works. I went through years of being like, F that. I'm going to manage it without. And I think I did that for a straight decade until the last like 2 years that I've been in counseling and trying to work on myself because it had gotten so bad. And I was in a terrible depression. We'll do that. We'll talk about that. I don't remember what I've posted about it yet. But yeah. For me, it took a crisis in my life for me to even know I had a problem. Because my knee-jerk reaction was my conditioned reaction since I was a kid. If your whole life you were told, suck it up, you could do it if you tried, you don't have anybody telling you that there's something you need to learn about. So you're like, oh, I gotta fix this. That's why you don't know. Because you've already had a concept of self. Right? You have a concept of yourself being like everyone else. There's nothing that told you that. And anytime, because we're functional enough, we're not like in a wheelchair. We're not nonverbal. We're not so severely disabled that it is obvious. So we think of it as a failing. Wow, guys. Am I symptomatic today? Well, I'll tell you what. My appointment is in 20 minutes. So I think I'm going to turn this off, pause, reflect, think about what I want to talk to her about and work on this week. Because I didn't even think about what my goals were in the last 2 weeks. I started this 30-day thing. I forgot all about the goals that what I was going to be working on. Now I see her every 2 weeks and it's messing me up. Because if I can at least have like that one at the end of the week, like I'm working towards this. Once I know it's 2 weeks, it's such a long period of time that I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow. And then it doesn't happen and then it's gone. That's what the planner helps with. Don't be overwhelmed. I can tell you how to start slow if you hate planners, but you might want to try. Yeah. You do want to start slow. You do want to start slow. If you think something's going to be easy and you should be doing a whole bunch of things and you try to do a whole bunch of different changes, you might find yourself feeling like you screwed up. Because I guess the ADHD brain is resistant to change here. So when you're making changes in your habits, like for me, I jumped straight into, for the daily cleaning, being dishes, trash, and bed. Because that's my minimum. But when I first started, the first week it was just do the dishes. And I felt like embarrassed. My counselor actually, when I started working with her, she had me do something like that. She says, just do this. And I'm like, I'm not getting it. This isn't going to help me. But you know what? She's right. Because when it's a small change, you just go and do it. And then you're doing it for a week. So then it's not a big deal because it's so small. And then you add another thing to it. And then for me, I work up to it. But since I was already doing those 3 things before, I have it 3 things. But if you're just starting to come up with new habits now, and you haven't tried something like this before, if yours is cleaning, try. And the first week in your planner might not have much written at all. because you're going to be starting slow. I'll show you my last year's planner. I'll show you where I started and how like I was screwing up and what I did right and how I was able to start tracking that. So I could give myself credit. And at the end of the month, see how that's like a hot mess. I was so excited. My last one, I had an extra sheet in the back for each month, but most of them do not. Let me see. Let me find one that's blank. So let's look at February before I hang up. So you want number one, a goal page in the beginning of the month. Then, I know you got 2 pages here. You want the actual calendar, right? So you can write your appointments. This is so invaluable if you're in college. This is what saved me. I opened up the syllabuses to every single class. And like one night it's almost like I was downloading all of the assignments that they give you ahead of time in the syllabus. And so I would write the assignments in each day. Maybe not on the calendar page. For important tests, I would. And I would color code them. I can show you that too. So you want the goal sheet, which I showed you, the calendar. And then these are week at a glance sheets. So, and the thing I like about this one, and again, not all planners have it. I was looking to find, caught myself. I was looking to find a planner for you guys that are really similar to this on Amazon. And I realized, God, it's hard for me to find it. So if I find something very similar, or I can find some kind of brand name in here, I think that might have been on the label that comes off. So I'm not sure. If I figure out what brand this is, I will put a link so you don't have to think about it. Like I said, the next 30 days, I'm just kind of talking about it. I'm not, and you can watch me do it. But see in the bottom here, the very bottom blank square where it says notes, I put my goals for the week. You know, and sometimes I change it midweek. And then, so it's really 4 things if you want to do the tracker. So this is what the sheet looked like before I put lines in it. It was just a plain sheet. And then, I'm not even going to edit this video, as I know there's important information, but I just, it takes me so long. So this is a tracker sheet. That last page of the month, I took that blank sheet and I used a ruler, and there's some that I haven't filled out yet, and I can show you how to do it. It doesn't take too long. It's more of a tedious thing, but if you have an extra page, that's bonus, because most of them don't. I don't know why. You would think that they would, so that you can take notes. I mean, even if you didn't want to do a tracker sheet, yeah, there's nothing on the page before is the week at a glance. So the goal sheet, I write what I'm trying to do, and what I'll do is in the beginning of the month. God, I'm going to break this thing. I'm going to break it. God. The spiral. Whatever. See how it's stuck. Okay. I'm just putting that there. What are you guys working on? Do you use a planner? What do you find helpful? I get to do live soon! Sorry, I'm excited. They may be a little wonky at first, but I mean, we don't have to talk about ADHD, and hopefully I will look better than I'm looking now. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go get ready for my appointment. And then after my appointment, I will probably try to do another thing of 3s. I'll reassess. I'll get back to you. And you know what? Things that she and I talk about that I'm working on, I can things that aren't too personal for me to share because she's my counselor. Things that are the things I'm working on, I will share with you that are related to what I'm trying to do with this channel. What do you guys like so far? What do you find helpful? Again, I apologize that I am beyond an amateur and I'm just learning to edit. And because my particular flavor of ADHD, I think in circles and I talk too dang much. And then these videos are all over the place. But we're making progress. I do love you guys. I do care. Take care of yourself today. And another thing, do you forget to shower? I don't always, but this week apparently I have. I'm like, how many days have I been wearing that shirt? If this is you, don't feel bad. That's going to be the first. I'm going to go text it to myself. Why do I text things to myself? I just text little brief things with timestamps. So in the beginning of the morning, when I first wake up, because the phone's always right next to me, and I think I'll remember it, but then I won't. I just text little, what I call breadcrumbs to find. So if I'm not awake and I'm in bed, but I know I'm getting up, and I wake up at 8, I'll just text October, what is today? So today the first thing I text is Saturday, October 19th. Send. Then you'll see one of them will be in a lighter color, one is in a darker color, because it's like it thinks you're talking to, it's like a text, you get it twice. So the one that is coming from the other person, I delete that one and I keep the blue one because it will highlight the start of the next day. And then all the other texts, I just leave that other. So you're always going to delete one of them. So for all of them throughout the day, I just leave them that darker black color. And then the next day, that way, if I go a few days and I'm having a hard time staying on track, and I'm like, I can't deal with that planner, I leave little breadcrumbs to myself. And I actually have a few days of breadcrumbs in here. I'm going to scroll through today and put in the planner. So in a way, I'm probably making things harder for myself. But if you're looking for a little trick and you're out of habits, or you're just starting and you maybe somewhere your planner's at home, and maybe some of the things you're trying to get done are during the day when you're not, where you don't want to take your planner to work, text little things to yourself, or, get a Word app and make a document. However, used to be, I would have like a little notebook in my purse, but, there's so many things on our phone that we can use. So that's another little trick. I have poor working memory. So I have these functional little tricks that I do to help me remember. Then when I put them down and I compare day to day, and that tracking sheet, you can see throughout the whole month. You can see in one sheet, those are the things I'm tracking. I'm tracking the time I wake up and the time I go to bed, because I'm going to start trying to regulate that. I'm tracking, did I eat my breakfast? Did I have protein with that breakfast? That's why it's pills, food, protein. Pills, because you better dang take your pills. Because you better take your freaking pills, man. And food. Did you eat yet today? Go eat. Go drink your water. So yeah, I didn't write water in there because I guess I just automatically dump and fill the water when I write down in the planner in the morning how many glasses of water I had. If I wake up in the morning and I don't feel like putting it in the planner right away, I'll text it to myself. When I wake up, I go to the bathroom just like a regular person. I'll go to the bathroom and I get dressed. And maybe I grab my water bottle and I see, like this morning, there was 1 glass of water left in there. So I had 7 glasses. So I texted to myself, Saturday, October so-and-so, text, left it blue, remove the extra one. And then I wrote, had 7 glasses of water yesterday. The next text I wrote pills, food, protein, buy, and then I didn't send it yet. And then when I went to go do those things, I put the time, hit send, delete the extra one. Then, so I will do that because the phone's with me, and it's very easy for me to look in text, and then I can put the phone down, and when it's time for me to record everything into the planner, I just transfer it over. Just write, okay, right, check, highlight, done. Whatever works for you. You might come up with totally different tricks. I've been talking way too long. What? How does this happen? I love you guys. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Ugh. How am I going to organize this? Okay. When I edit these, I'm going to have to start making a list of all the different topics I talk about. I will find ways that when I do these videos that I can stay on track. I haven't figured it out yet. Because I'll think of other things that are important. But I love you. Have a great day. And maybe we can do something fun today. It's Saturday. I haven't decided, we've only done 1 week. I don't know if 30 days will be enough. Or maybe by then I will have improved quite a bit and I'll get into the habit and I'll just keep it going. And maybe then I'll be way more functional. And once I start doing exercise and drinking more water and eating better, my memory's not going to be as bad. So it does help some. Tricks for food, if you want to start making changes right now before I do that video. If you don't have any diet allergies and you don't have any special diets that you're doing, low carb, low this, high that, whatever, because there's so many freaking diets out there. And you don't have food allergies. I have a friend who has she has to have gluten-free everything. She has the celiac. She doesn't live by it, but she's got it. So some tricks to get you started if you want to make sure that you eat protein. Go to your local grocery store and check the freezer section. Look in the section that has the egg and cheese breakfast sandwiches. They can be quite expensive, but this is my first tip. Go to see if they have the burrito wraps. If you don't want the beans, if that messes with your digestion, some of them don't have the beans in them, but they have a decent amount of protein. You can just grab one and look at them. The reason why I mention them is 2 things. They're cheap. If you can get them on sale, they're like $1 to $1.50. You can stock up on them. You throw them in your freezer, and then when you go to eat them, you take them, open the wrapper, stick it in the microwave, heat it for a minute, and eat it. You forget to eat. You hate to cook. You have ADHD. You're like, I'll just eat a stick of cheese that's in the fridge. I can't be bothered. Well, now you got a trick if you aren't already doing that. Certain microwave meals are easy if they're expensive for you. The Michelina ones you can get them at the dollar store. I don't know if they still have them at I don't know about Family Dollar. Dollar Tree has them. I did notice that the last few years that it's just in their cutting costs. They're all sauce and a really little bit amount of pasta. So you might have to have more than one or have a salad with it. When you're doing your groceries, think of ease, easy to make, of course the price, protein. And then if you want to get fruits and veggies in, you can, right now I'm pricing who has the cheapest, but get yourself a big old freaking big bag of frozen fruit. And the cheapest protein powder I have found is at Walmart. I have checked the prices in Stop and Shop, pharmacies. I haven't been to Market Basket in a while. So, and then get yourself like a bag of apples or something. So that's a good starting point, because if you want to have something in the morning and you're used to having, you're so tired and non-functional in the morning, are you thinking about cooking? No, you're going to put some Lucky Charms in a bowl if you're like me, and you're going to have some coffee, and then in a half an hour you're going to have a headache because now you have sugar crash and you've had nothing but sugar. And that's not good for your ADHD brain. And the protein is what your body needs to make the dopamine. So if you're not eating it, how's your body going to make it? So you're taking this medication to raise your dopamine. And if you're not checking that you're getting enough protein in your diet. So today we have very little food because I keep forgetting to, again, I have to go return stuff because I only have $12. What am I going to buy for food for $12? I'm thinking of going on food stamps. I'm super embarrassed, but I might have to do that. What was I going to say? So yeah, those breakfast wraps are great. They save you money if you're not working, because now it's ruined your ability to work if it's that severe. These are things that you can get for little money. And you want things that are easy peasy, lemon squeezy, easy, easy, easy. Microwave meal. You open it up, put the lid back in, put in for 4 minutes. When it beeps, you stir it up, you eat it. Breakfast wraps, 1 minute. You can take it out and wrap it in a paper towel. That's what they tell you to do. But depending on the brand, you don't necessarily have to. As I'm lazy. If something has 5 steps, I'm not going to do it. I've seen some of these breakfast things that's like, wrap it in this. Thaw it this way for this many minutes. Turn it over. Do this. And I'm like, no. I don't care if it doesn't come out as good. I'm just going to cook it for this amount of minutes and that's it. Or I will eat junk. So for breakfast, for the little food that we had, I want to make sure I had protein. So it's piecemeal. So he bought some yogurts. Yogurt's got protein. It only had 5 grams. I had a couple of chicken tenders, like you would at lunch. I just put a couple on a plate, and I couldn't eat it all, actually. It was very filling, and with some ketchup. I didn't have them together. I had a banana and a roll. So I had my bread, I had my carb, I had a fruit, that because we had them, and I'm like, this is awesome. So it's not, think of your food as fuel, but with ADHD, not complicated. This is going to be so unwatchable. I love you guys so, so much. I'm going to go have my appointment. I'm a little embarrassed. I texted her last night. I told her about this 30-day thing. So we'll see. I'll ask her. I do have to watch out how much, because this could easily take over my entire day, every day. And I'm already losing track of my goals. Love you guys. Bye.